Let's talk a bit about the warrior mindset. What exactly is it? Why is it so important? And what can you do to make sure you get the most out of adopting this approach? Well, the warrior mindset is essentially about seeing things as a challenge, positive opportunity for you to show what you're made of as you take on this challenge. And the opposite would be adopting something like a victim mindset, or what you might sometimes hear called learned helplessness. And this is where you see things as being done to you and you kind of give up hope. You essentially feel nothing that you can do will make any difference. A nice quote that illustrates it well goes something like this: "The difference between a warrior and an ordinary man is that the warrior sees everything as a challenge, while the ordinary man sees everything as either a blessing or a curse." And this is exactly what we're talking about here. The warrior looks at things as a challenge, a chance to test their abilities, an opportunity. And the ordinary attitude, tending towards the victim attitude, is to see things as either good things or bad things happening to you, and you don't really have any control over it. Why is this so important? That feeling that you're in control, that there's something you can do to help, no matter how small, is what keeps you engaged, what keeps you trying, optimistic, and this will feed through in huge numbers of ways into how good your music performance is. So there's always something you can do to improve a situation. And sometimes there are physical actions you can take, things that are directly about how you play. And sometimes it might just be the attitude that you take. You don't get despondent about it. You feel, okay, bring it on, I can deal with this. Maybe you just smile about it and think, you know, it's a tough break, but I'm going to make the best that I can. There's always something you can do to respond positively. And the flip side is when bad things happen, things that you don't want, and you kind of just give up hope and you stop trying. And it's a pretty common response, and it's totally unhelpful. So there's a great quote from Muhammad Ali, which says, "Whether inside the ring or out, there ain't nothing wrong with going down. It's staying down that's wrong." And this is exactly the attitude that you need. So how can you adopt this warrior mindset? It's really a process of practice. Think of this attitude as being like a muscle. You can go to the gym and train and use those muscles, and the more you do that, the stronger they get. And it's exactly the same with a warrior mindset. If you take this challenge attitude, then the more you do that, the stronger you get at doing it, and the easier it becomes to adopt that attitude. In fact, until you reach the point where you'll find yourself just naturally taking this challenge attitude, seeing things as an exciting opportunity to prove yourself. You won't even have to think about trying to do it. It will just happen naturally. And when you get to having that as your natural response, well, then you're really in a good state. So what exactly does it look like? You want to be thinking about things with an attitude of bring it on. I love it. Welcome these things. You want to make sure you're not ever resenting the situation. Once you start thinking, I wish things were different, that's when you start to struggle. That's when there's a temptation to just let things go and feel, well, there's no point. Once you embrace how the situation is, see what the positive things you can get out of it are. So it might be thinking, okay, anyone can play well when things are going nice and smoothly. When stuff gets difficult, that's when you see who's really got it. This is my chance to prove myself. It might be thinking, you know that this is really important to be able to develop a warrior mindset, and you know that the way you get that is by training it, by practicing it. So throw all these difficult things at me. I need the practice. All those sort of attitudes, you know, it's a chance to test your skills when everything's going fine. Maybe that's not a good enough test of your skill. You're not really finding out, have I really got it? When things get difficult, when things get what other people might think of as unfair, you can see that is, okay, now I get to find out where I'm really at. So this is what we want to be doing. It's an ongoing process, and hopefully you've being able to work out, as I've talked about this, where you are with this right at the moment. Some of you may be pretty good at this already, but there's always room for improvement. And if you've been following along and thinking, actually, I recognize myself in that I tend to kind of wish things were different and give up category, well, use this as an opportunity to resolve, actually, let's do something about it. And best to start in small steps. You're not going to suddenly go from being someone who has a habit of giving up to someone who takes on any challenge with excitement overnight, but it's totally trainable. And the more that you practice doing this, the better you'll get at it.